What is up? Welcome back to another live stream repair. Oh boy, we've got a lot here today. We're gonna start things off with G-Pod here. There's successfully took a USB restore yesterday and appeared to solve their issues. And they are opting for the extra hardware maintenance, which involves us taking it apart and fixing a few things up to do our best to keep it going for as long as possible, i.e. the most common, like no power issue, death farts, base issues, stuff like that. Let's get ourselves all lined up here. And let's get our queue up on the screen. So first up, G-Pod with some brick maintenance. And then we're gonna do Alan, and then Kevin. So Alan has death farts or some sort of DC filter issue. Kevin's got no power. And Alan likes to watch it all, so we'll shoot them another link to today's stream. Let's see here. Alright, Alan's been messaged. Let's find G-Pod and shoot them a link. Woo! Oh man, there must be something in my room because I don't sneeze like this until I come in here. It just smells like stinky subwoofers in here. Alright, so after Kevin, we will move on to a brick. BR265. Then we've got Ace with, we're not sure, they said that it's stuck on OS 15 and it might have a DC filter issues, a loud pop and restart, but that could just be it because it's stuck on a OS 15, which was known to have that particular bug. We've got Bert, no power. We've got another no power. And then we're gonna have to make another line here. $262 with no power. $248 with no power. Oh, they've got two of them. And then Corey with no power. Actually, we're gonna do Christopher R with a brick, and then we'll do Corey with no power. And then we've got Warehouse Graphics, and maybe we can squeeze Jordan into there. Oof. And that's not even all of them. Alright, well, let's kick things off here with G-Pod. As I was saying at the start of the stream, we started off yesterday's stream with this one, and it would turn on, but after a few seconds of trying to boot, it would briefly flash the volume buttons and then restart itself again. And it would just keep doing that over and over. So to my surprise, it took a USB restore, which makes me think this was like an interrupted software update. Or maybe the software update just didn't go well when it was attempted, and that's why it was chucked. Big Mike, what is up? Yeah, that's a lot of pods, and that's not even all of them. I was early to the UPS store today, so whatever shows up today hasn't even shown up yet, and I don't know how much is going to show up today. This is everything that showed up yesterday and a little bit of overflow from the day before. But we have got to fix a bunch today. We got to fix at least like 9 or 10 today to not get too backed up. And number 248 there has 2 of them. So that is quite the queue. I think there's 14 there on my floor. Oh, I have no beer either. But fear not, my wife is doing her errands. I asked her to grab some for me while she was out. And I can't imagine that will be done before she gets back, so... Nothing smelly with the subwoofer there. flip it around. Let's get to our filters first and get those replaced. Alright, let's see if this needs a new diode. Ooh, yes it does. We've got a 46K dated diode there. One of two date codes that we consistently see failing and causing no power. So we'll get that swapped out before it does that. I love this soldering iron. I'm gonna keep saying that till it gives me a reason not to. Alright, let's get this wrapped up with a new subwoofer gasket and all that jazz. And that should make for one happy HomePod. Jeez. I'm still on the hunt for the correct replacement fan. At this point, I think I'm just gonna spend a little bit of money on a new hot air station. Any HomePods in for repair that are not the usual caps and diodes? Let's see. RMA, filters, diode. There is one, the one from Ace is stuck on OS 15, and OS 15 had a version with a known bug where it would make a loud pop and restart. And that's what we think is going on with that one. We've got a brick. We've got just a straight up blinky brick, and the rest are diodes. So nothing too exciting, but I am kind of looking forward to aces there with, you know, that's stuck on OS 15. I imagine it's gonna take a USB restore fine, and it just needs a little bit of hardware maintenance. I am kind of tempted to try updating it on my setup first before hitting it with the USB restore. The USB restores should be more of a last resort than a fix that you should be jumping to. I mean, if it's got blinking volume buttons or it won't set up or configure at all, then go for it. That's the last resort. But if it's just not updating, just not configuring, there's a few things you can try. My Hail Mary for any software update or configuration issues is to get a spare iPhone or iOS device, iPhone or iPad, that's on an updated version of iOS, so at least 18.0. And you need to sign out of your Apple ID on everything. I mean, if at best you should just reset the phone, and so that way you've got a fresh start, and create a new Apple ID too. Whole brand new everything. And then try to set up the HomePod with that phone and that test phone and test ID. Give it a day or two. Let it try to do its thing. If it still doesn't configure or update, you might have a hardware issue. Or a software issue that you're just gonna have to plug it in and try a restore. Nice and sealed. Yes, we will see. Well, you and I won't see, but they'll see. Well, maybe you'll see too. There it is. This stuff for today has been delivered. It looks like we've got one thing from FedEx, one thing from UPS. Apparently that's it. That's good. I don't need a bunch more showing up when I'm already this backed up. I'm gonna go grab my test phone that I used to set HomePod up. Yes. Sounds great. All right. I will stick this on the shelf to test. And we will grab Alan. Unfortunately, I think Alan is stuck in a meeting right now. But you can always go back, and I'm sure he's gonna drop by here once he gets out of that. Okay, so after Alan, we've got Kevin, number 275. Let's find that one. All right. 275 Kevin has been notified.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the home app.
You have got no more bass, my friend. Well, it's a good thing we got our hands on all those spare subwoofers yesterday, because I have a feeling we're going to need it for this one. Okay. That one wanted to play. Ah! Ah! A little bit of isopropyl alcohol under the speaker basket since it's glued down on top of the screws that we gotta take out. Oh yeah, that woofer's cooked. I'm not gonna sniff that one, sorry folks. I'll pass on that cancer. Yeah, that's cooked. That is donezo. I'll stick that in the pile that we might one day find someone or some way to refurbish these. Got another good woofer here at least we'll put this back together with. First, of course, let's get this apart the rest of the way and rectify the reason that last woofer roasted itself. We are looking for those infamous DC filters. And I say infamous, I guess. I'm the one that's saying they're all famous in that. But in the electronics industry, everybody knows that ceramic caps naturally age and decay over time. You're supposed to design things around that kind of failure, or with that in mind at least. And Apple's decision with the first gen HomePod is to death fart and roast the bass speaker. Alright. Everything else looks like it survived, so this just needs some new filters, a new subwoofer, and I spotted a 46K dated diode, of course, so we'll replace that before this needs to come back to us for no power. And then we'll tidy it up with a nice solid rubber subwoofer gasket as we put it back together. That should make for a happy HomePod. Alright, let's hit that diode. There it is. I said 46K, I meant 48K. All the same date code, all the same diode to me. Those two are the ones that need to get replaced. If it was any older or any newer, and we've seen plenty of older and newer ones out there, we could leave it. But we have been able to establish that there is a bad batch of these diodes floating around inside of HomePods within a certain date range. Unfortunately, there's no correlation to the date code on the diode and the serial number or production date of the HomePod itself, so you kind of just have your chances out for you. On the bright side, all things considered, it does look like we're not at an alarming failure rate yet. Not quite like someone should sue Apple over it as a whole. Not that they aren't handling these ones properly. They should have known about these issues and been offering customers replacements. But I don't think every HomePod out there needs to get recalled. right, Kevin. And then number 265.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Yeah, there we go. Alan is all fixed up. Let's move on to Kevin. Kevin with no power. After that, we've got a brick to take a look at. Let's see here. No lights, no power. 7 watts of power draw. It's a little high on the side for diode, but not too unusual for it. So we'll see. See what we got here. Goodness, some of these just put up the most obnoxious fight. I'm sweating. Oof. Try not to get that on the HomePod. Oh boy. Right before I started offering a repair service for these, I was messing around with a couple of HomePod amplifiers trying to figure out one of the issues. And as I was leaning over to screw the amplifier board back in, my sweat dripped off my head and right onto the board. And the board was still holding enough charge in the capacitors that it fried it. I replaced everything that I sweat on, and it still couldn't get it working. It's a sad day. There it is, our dead 46K dated diode again. Let's get that out of here. Dirk, what is up? Welcome. Here we are fixing some first-gen Apple HomePods. Mostly common issues that we cover on our website, nixfix.com. Just some routine repairs here. For the most part, we've got a few oddballs in the queue there. We'll see what's up with them. This one wasn't powering on. And now it is.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
All right. Another one fixed. Here we've got number 265. Which I thought was going to be blinking volume buttons here. But it seems to be working for us. Interesting. Well, Mr. 265, if you join us in the stream here, let me know if you've got any hints for us as to what's wrong with this, because at least right here now it's working for us. I'm going to reset that, set it up on my home, see if we can't get that to break itself on us. Well, then I guess we'll move on to Ace here. So Ace's HomePod is actually stuck on OS 15. So what I'm going to do with this one, actually we're going to skip past this one too, because the first few things I want to try with it are going to be rather boring. I'm just going to set it up with my test phone and see if it updates on my test home. I'm kind of expecting it not to, and at that point we will bring this one back out and attempt to restore it with USB. So that'll be that one. Which means let's take a look at Bert. Number 291 with no power. Alright, let's let Bert know that they're up next. 291. Alright, Bert has been messaged. Okay. Oof. Let's see what we've got going on here. No lights, no power, nothing of the sorts. We've got a couple of watts being pulled from the wall, which tells me it is another dead diode inside waiting for us. So let's get this apart and get it fixed. Alright, I'm powering up Ace's HomePod. I'm gonna get that set up on my test home while I'm thinking about it. There it is. HomePod update in progress. Interesting. It is indeed on 15.0. Alright, well, we'll see if that updates. Play forest sounds.
Here's Forest.
There, I'm just going to let that play in the background. Ooh. Well, there you go. It did it. I'm gonna unplug that. So I think what we'll do for Ace then, the next step is to put in a known good logic board that's on an up-to-date OS. Because I don't want to, obviously, if this is a hardware issue on the amplifier and it keeps popping and restarting, I don't want to try to restore it over USB and have it pop and restart in the middle of a critical step in hardware, or brick the logic board at a level that we can't restore it. So the software update won't work over the air like this. I don't want to risk the USB update. So we're going to try an already up-to-date logic board to confirm our suspicion of that issue being an amplifier board and not an OS bug. Because OS 15 did have a bug where it would make a loud pop and restart like that. But I have a feeling that it took a lot longer than that for it to happen. And I thought that was like a 15.3 or 15.4 bug. Or was it 17.3? I can't even remember now. I have to go back and look at my notes. Alright, well, we don't need that out here anymore. Rah! Yes, let's go. All right, that is beautiful. No, it's not. It looks better on camera than it really is, I think. There. That I am happy with. Let's get that dead diode out of here. Those 4 capacitors we only replace as a little bit of maintenance to prevent bass issues and death farts. Since they are ceramic capacitors, they naturally decay over time and lose their effectiveness. And we like to stay ahead of issues if we know about them and can prevent them. This is our diode. This is what failed and caused our no power issue. It only failed due to a bad batch of them floating around out there. We can tell if it's a part of that bad batch based on the date code on the diode. And just for good measure, we do replace it with a bigger, better, stronger, higher quality one. Not that I think there's anything wrong with the original spec. There was just a bad batch of them. And that is it. I'm ready to put this one back together. People mail most of these in. Oh boy, do I wish most of these were mine. Nope. These are mailed in mostly from around the US to us to get fixed. Look at that. All right.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the home app. I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
All right. That sounds and looks good. Now we've got number 253 here. Looks like they still even have the plastic film on it. After 253, we've got number 262. We'll shoot them a message. Alright. No lights, no power, no nothing here. A couple of watts from the wall there. That looks like another dead diode. Oh, that's a workout. Try it out yourself sometime. Oh, my wife just made it home. Give me 1 second, folks, and I'm gonna go help her bring stuff in. Alright, we're back. We got the amp. We've got beer. Courtesy of the wife. Cheers, folks. Ooh, I need to get something else too. I don't have any real limes, but this'll do. Yes. Not quite the same as a real lime, but gets the job done. Does Corona like not sell a lime version of that? I think that'd be. I feel like they should. Oh. Is that the same as all the others? Yeah, okay. I just had to make sure. You never know. There we go. Every time, that top one is very deceitful. Oh, you know, never mind. I'm always concerned about how close this is to that little guy up there. It always looks worse to my eye than it does on the camera. There it is, our 46K dated dead diode. Let's get that swapped out for a good new one. That won't fail again. Yes. I'm gonna factory reset number 265 in the background here. If you hear a HomePod going off, that's not it's not this one.
Your HomePod is about to reset. Keep pressing until you hear 3 beeps.
Okay. What about you?
I'm having trouble.
Yeah. Show me them volume buttons.
I'm having.
Yes. 253 is good to go. We move on now to number 248. Or not 248. Not yet. 262. You are now up. After that, we've got number 248. All right. No lights, no power. No power draw. Interesting. But watch this, when we plug it back in, that power draw jumps up for a second there, and then it falls back down. So this is not the usual dead diode. I wonder if we've got a busted display or maybe a shorted capacitor on the logic board maybe. Well, number 265 factory reset itself. Well, not itself. It reset without a problem. I told it to reset. So I'm really not sure what's wrong with number 265. I'll go ahead and try to set it up on my test home here. Finished setting up. It's on 17.0. So I wonder if I wonder if it just won't update for him. We can fix that. Alright. What have we got here? A 48K dated diode. But it is not shorted out. Okay, we've got some troubleshooting to do here. Oh, I see the problem. We don't even need to troubleshoot any further. Oh dear. This is interesting. We saw one of these yesterday too. Except it didn't cause no power in that case. It would pop really loud as soon as you plugged it in. That's a hole in the main amp chip. That shouldn't be there. You've got some burned traces next to it, so I don't want to take our time and chances trying to fix that. We're going to need to find ourselves another amplifier. Alright, so that looks like the usual dead diode. That is an amplifier that we can fix up and use for number 262 here. Let's get to it. On this guy here, this is one of a few parts pods that I have sitting around for occasions like this. Kind of surprised the subwoofer survived that. Alright, that's a fancy subwoofer for another day. Into the parts pile with you. Alright, let's get ourselves an amplifier worthy of reusing here. We'll start with some new filters to keep bass issues and death farts and something like that from happening again. Oh, first try. Perfect. Okay. Let's get this diode replaced. That's probably what's keeping this thing from turning on, at least on this amplifier board. If you're just joining us, this is a totally different amplifier from a totally different HomePod for number 262 here, since their amplifier board has a big hole in the main amp chip, and it's appeared to have damaged some of the traces nearby, so it's just going to be a more straightforward repair for us to replace that board. Oops. That was almost a disaster. Crisis averted. Alright. One fresh amplifier for this HomePod. That evil little giggle. I don't know if you can hear that kid in the background. we missing a whole display? Interesting. All right.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Very good. Here we are with number 248. They've got two of them here with the same issue. No lights, no power, couple of watts from the wall there. That looks like the usual dead diode. Mike, what is up? What is up? I think we can squeeze that in here since you've joined us. Been making you wait long enough. The mesh is soldered directly to the power. That's hilarious. That is a creative way of saying yes, it is entirely possible. There's a I mean, if you've got the parts for the white HomePod sitting around, you can change just the mesh, the top, the power cable if you want. coloring a black one, like dyeing a black one white. I have not tried myself yet. I imagine bleach could do the job. But I don't know how it would react with the mesh. I'd have to try it on a junk one to see. Ooh, I've been wanting to do some tie-dye pods. The problem is you need to bring the water up to a hot enough temperature in order for the mesh to take any color dye. And in order to tie-dye, my understanding is you tie it up, you bundle it up and such, and you stick rubber bands around it to give it the patterns. And that is a problem with these meshes in hot water because they will want to form to the shape that you bundled it up into in the hot water. And then when you take it out and undo it, it's going to want to keep that shape and it's going to look all wrinkly. I know because I have tried to dye a HomePod mesh with by just sticking the mesh into the dye bath. I didn't stick it on an empty HomePod shell to keep its shape. I just dunked it right into the bath, and it immediately shrunk up and lost its form and was unusable. But I'm sure there's techniques and workarounds for some of those issues. I'm just not a tie-dye expert. I have very little. I don't think I've ever actually tie-dyed anything. Here we go. Let's get some new filters on there. The repair is free if you have a gun. Yeah, because I can sell the gun for way more than $70. Actually, might even keep it for myself. I've only got my shotgun. Hydro dipping. That is interesting. I think that might work. That's a good idea. I'm gonna have to try it. See if we can get some cool patterns on there. Oh, that would be so much easier to do than the dye bath also. Have you considered just buying new? Nah. This is easier. This is better for everything. And it looks like we've got them with us in the chat here. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, this is just straight up the more economical way to do it. Fix it, don't replace it. Alright, now we've got those filters replaced. Those just go bad over time and cause death farts and all sorts of bass issues. This is the star of the show here, that Schottky diode dated 48K. That's the date code we're looking for. Let's get that replaced so it won't happen again. Yeah, and it's like Apple spent $249 per HomePod just in parts to make these things, not including research and development, support, software, packing, shipping, anything else, just the cost of parts from Apple. For them to put these things together was $249 per unit. That is pretty insane to me. So for them to spend that much per unit and then throw them all away over what, a diode that costs $1, and we've gotten the repair process you know, under 20 minutes. If we're locked in, you know, we can do it in like 15, 18 minutes. In and out. Tested, working. So, and it's pretty crazy. They spent that much per unit to make them. And then if you remember, retail originally was $350, and then they often brought them down to $300. So that's only $50 in profit. Well, quote unquote profit. Like I said, that's not including all the other costs associated. That's just the parts. So what seems like the first gen HomePod was made for was getting people sucked into their subscription services. It was a loss leader in hardware form. And it's really interesting because, man, are these some good speakers. And it's clearly evident, like, we're as busy as we've ever been. We've been fixing these things for 3 years now. And it's hands down the busiest it's ever been. It used to be like 2 to 5 a day on average, give or take. And now we're seeing 7, 8, 9, 10 plus showing up a day. Thankfully, it looks like today we might have only had a couple more show up, so that'll give us a chance to clear up this queue before the next wave. But you would think if these weren't so great, we wouldn't be so busy. So long after these things were first released. Way back in 2018. Who knows how many? Well, Apple knows. Apple knows exactly how many of them are still out there, online and working. And I would really like to know that number. No, don't agree with Mike. Agree with me. I mean, I was gonna say 15, 18 minutes. That's pretty long. That's pretty good. But we won't go there. I feel inappropriate enough drinking on stream as it is. I can really taste the processed lime. Oh, I just caught that. The black pod I had sitting for about 5 years not plugged in. When my white one died, I went to plug the black one in, and it had the same problem. That is crazy. Well, it's about to turn on for the first time in years, I suppose. Here might be one of the. Ooh, I wonder what version of the software it's going to be on. You gave us permission to reset and update it, which means I'll get to pair it to my my setup here and see what it's rocking. Man, that's got to be like OS 11, 12, or 13, maybe. If it's been that long. And I'm doing nothing the way Apple intended. Hey, I mean, in this case, if they both weren't broken, then maybe you wouldn't have gotten the other one fixed, and you would have just been like, oh, well, I got the other one. We'll wait for this one to die. So in a way, two wrongs here did end up making a right. well, 2 rights. We're going to make these into 2 rights. Alright, I knew as soon as I made that comment you were going to say something about that. I mean, if I can be real with you for a sec, I just saw that, but I think a spaghetti sauce attempt would look better than some of the attempts that I've seen on Reddit. But I'm not throwing any shade at you. Yes, okay. Look at that. Oh, that's got to be original OS. I haven't seen one behave like this on startup in... Wow. Okay, well, it works. I'll have to reset it to really test it out here. But... okay, so here's another one. This is not actually Mr. 248's second HomePod. This is a random broken white HomePod that I purchased for parts. And we're gonna really quickly here put together this red HomePod for Mr. Funny Guy in the chat here. He has been patiently waiting after we got his HomePod, or actually, I think it was just an amplifier that they sent in. Okay, so we've got a collection of red parts here that are less than perfect that have just been sitting around my space here. And, well, Mike asked the right question at the right time and has claimed these parts. So he has opted to purchase a refurbished pod from us and have us put those red parts on there for him. So we're going to knock this out really quick, and then we'll hop back over to Mr. Millionaire there with his second pod. Let me put that there so I have it for future reference. Save the top. I was just gonna rip this sucker right off. Let's see. again, I think this one's a little too nice to send to you. I might have to put a few scratches in it. Don't worry, we'll be quick in and out. Ah! So for Mike's HomePod, we'll be demonstrating why you can't use spit as a replacement for flux when we go to replace those parts on the board. And you'll see later. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Da-na-na. Never buy white again. I think though the white looks very well. Okay, they both look equally really cool to me. Oh, I can't pick a favorite between the two. But I will say that the space gray is yeah, a lot easier to keep clean. Ages better, I would say. But if you know your way around HomePods, taking this mesh off and giving it a quick scrub in the sink is a trivial task. All right. Cheers. Here we go. Alright, we've got some old filters here that I pulled from a HomePod like 4 years ago that have been sitting on my shelf. I figured since we all love Mike so much, I'd treat him to the best. Ooh, I'll be sure to make sure that I get a cat hair or two on here too. You know, I want to make sure I give this a reason to come back to us, but I want to make sure it lasts at least a year. You know, warranty period, blah blah blah. And for the diode, a special treat. I have got a used 48K dated diode. It still works, so yeah, why not? It should work for about another year, right? Kurt, what is up? Welcome back. Oh, folks. I had 2 Kurts in one day. And I accidentally sent the wrong HomePod to the wrong Kurt. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be a big deal for either of those Kurts. Thank you very much for letting that slide for me. It is a strange irony though that I think I've only had like 2 or 3 Kurts in my repair history. And I get 2 of them in one day. And that was enough to throw me off and send the wrong one. But they had the same color HomePod. They're both okay with them being reset. It was in... It's alright. Oh, I hate it though. And then I started freaking out because I thought I lost a HomePod last night. I couldn't find someone's HomePod last night that I had fixed like a week ago. And turns out it was already boxed up, ready to go, just sitting around and waiting for them to pay for the repair. Underneath one of my kids' toys. How it got there, I don't know. I don't know. Ooh, he's paying us. That means we get to keep him. Or, I mean, make them lost in shipping. I'm actually really surprised that I've only had 3 HomePods ever get lost. Like, completely untraceable. They were all by the shipping company. But I kind of expected more. But it seems to be an average about about one a year gets lost in shipping. And we already had our one for this year, so. Now, I tell you what, the insurance does not mess around. So you don't want to try to like pull a fast one on them. But I've never had any problems dealing with them making any of the claims in the past. I actually work for, my day job is for a local software company that develops VMS software for analog and IP cameras mostly. And one of our biggest customers is one of the biggest shipping companies in America. You know, you got USPS, UPS, and FedEx. And I could tell you which one, but I'll make you work for it if you're curious. If you are that curious. But I've been there for like 11 or 12 years now, I think. Maybe a little more than that. And I've gotten a lot of looks inside how like the shipping companies work. It's insane how big the infrastructure is and how much back and forth there is and how inefficient you can think them doing things one way might seem when you scale it up. That's just that's the best way to do it. Oh, I almost put this back together with this nasty white mesh on here. Let's make that right. Get our T5. This white mesh is unfortunately a little too beat to reuse for anyone else. It will be good to use to experiment and test different ways to color these and how the mesh reacts to different things like cleaning products and what have you. And there we've got our. I must say it looks great. Crux TX, welcome. Welcome. You have the ES15 or the slightly newer one? Man, let me tell you, I'm a little salty about my ES15 because oh, like I was rambling during my last stream. I went through like 8 or 10 of them trying to find one that had the same power output as the first one, and it just seems like I got lucky with how good my first one was. But my problem with the ES15 is underneath the button, it's all plastic housing, and it keeps cracking and breaking, and the button becomes inconsistent. And so I have to take my motor, the only good motor out of the 10 of these that I have, strong enough to tackle all the HomePod screws. I have to, swap the motor around when the plastic housing breaks. I mean, it's easier than taking the whole housing apart and desoldering the OLED screen just to swap the plastic. Yeah, I don't like, especially on a device that I'm not familiar with. Like, I only use it on HomePods because I know how much each screw can generally tolerate. And I know in particular when we're working on the amplifier board, when we're touching the amplifier board screws, I don't use this. I use the manual screwdriver because I just don't want to risk it around the amp. Everything else is a lot easier and has a lot more space to wiggle around, but and on devices I'm less familiar with, I'll go full manual. Unless it's a really long screw that I'm trying to take out and I've gotten the idea that, like, okay, this is gonna be a pain. I'm gonna just zip these out really quick with the electric. Yep. And I would say the majority of the people that reach out to me, it's the same problem. They reach out to me with they're trying to get help extracting a stripped screw, or if somebody sends in a repair attempt to me with that they got halted on because they stripped a screw, it's because of the electric driver. All right. Give me a working pod. Yes. Ooh, swallowed a hiccup there. Yes. Oh.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. I'm having trouble connecting.
All right. I think we will leave it like that. I'm not going to bother resetting or updating it because I'm hoping that when Mike gets it, he resets it and it breaks itself, and he's going to have to send it back to us. So, here we go. Actually, I don't want to do that. I don't know if that's going to take the die off. So we'll just, I mean, there's only one person that's picking up a red HomePod from us. And here's the power cable for it. So yeah, it wasn't, this wasn't a perfect job on this, this mesh or the top. So I kind of just had these parts sitting around for a while. I ended up having to redo that one for the person that paid for that one. And, yeah, Mike got lucky. He asked at the right time. Don't ask now, because I don't have anything else sitting around for you folks. Right. Let's go back to Mr. Millionaire here, number 248. Sorry. When people text or email me about specifically about money, I got to make sure that, you know, especially when they're like, "Hey, did you get my payment?" I want to make sure that they know that yes, I did get it. You're all good. Okay. So we've got number 248 with no power again here. This is their second HomePod. We do have this spot here. So if you want me to replace this, I can make this all from white to black, but I would have to charge you the $15 to swap that all over, because I can reuse the top, I can reuse your power cable for someone else's HomePod, but the mesh, unfortunately, you know, you can't fix that, and I can't, you know, I'll use the mesh to experiment on, but oh yes, let's see what exactly this one is doing. And feel free to let me know via email and think about it, or if you know now, you can tell me here and now. We've got no lights, no power, a couple of watts from the wall. You want it? You got it. All right. Let me see what I've got over here. This one, I've got ones nicer than that. Ooh. That's weird. It shouldn't do that. What about this one? Ooh. That is a nice one. That is a very nice one. Yes, yes. That is what we'll use. Oh, and this will go to Mike. What's my other go-to repair besides HomePods? Geez, HomePods are pretty much the only thing people send in to us. We have had a few dozen of the LG Ultrafine 5K monitors in for USB-C port replacements. And a couple of the older 4K Ultrafines. And then there have been a couple of Xbox Elite controllers for like stick drift. We've had a few Steam Decks for shell swaps, and I've got another one on its way. And geez, I have been putting off and still need to find the time for a few upcoming repairs that we've got set to the side. We've got a BlendJet blender that someone sent in. We've got an iPod Classic that somebody wants a USB mod done on. And we've got an old, like an early 2000s car radio from a Mr. Aaron. I do Steam Decks. Yes, I do. Oh, those suckers take time though. That's about an hour, 1 to 2 hour job. I mean, I'm sure I could get faster at it the more I do them. But for Steam Deck shell swaps, I charge $100 with shipping both ways, provided by yours truly. $100 to do the shell swap, and then I suggest, I don't have any shells on hand, of course, but there's a few reputable websites out there that you can purchase the shells from, and you can have them shipped directly to my address on my website. That way you're not, you know, if you make me buy the parts for you, I'm going to charge a couple extra bucks for my time. So save yourself the money, buy the shell and the buttons yourself, have them shipped directly to me, and then you can reach out to me, let me know that you want your Steam Deck shell swap. To be totally frank with you, if you feel relatively confident in doing it yourself, it's pretty easy. It just takes a while. There's a lot of screws and a lot of little fiddling. But somebody reached out to me. They were like, "Hey, I'll pay you to do this." It was my first time, and I was like, "Yeah, screw it. Let's do it." And I live streamed it, and it went smooth. No problems. I read a few guides, and I knew what to look out for going in. Pretty much just don't be a Brutus. Console HDMI repair. I haven't tried it yet. I've really wanted to get my hands on a few broken ones to, well, I need a PS4 and a PS5. I don't have any. The most modern console I have right now is a first gen Switch, and then after that would be our Xbox 360. And that's pretty much when the last time I really picked up a video game was too. I would really like to get back into it, but the HomePods, they call to us. Is Kurt still here with us? I got a question for you, Kurt. I have replaced the USB-C port on a Steam Deck. That was a total walk in the park. The USB-C ports, stuff like that, the ports in general, it seems like I don't know, it seems too easy sometimes. Seems too easy for the kind of damage that I've seen from some of these YouTube videos. But I guess you're typically gonna see the worst of the worst there. Kurt, okay. We are starting to run out of time. Are you in a huge rush? Can I make you wait for your refurb? Well, okay, two options. I can put a refurb together for you without streaming it and ship it out tomorrow with your other repaired HomePod. Or if you want me to stream it and or you're not in a rush, I can live stream refurbishing another one for you tomorrow and ship it out the next day. Not in a rush at all. Perfect. Okay. Then I will put you in for the middle of tomorrow's stream for, I think you wanted a space gray one? Beautiful. Oh, alright. Best move is to take one of those off and then pop it back down. There we go. I just want to line you up. There we go. You can get some surprisingly bad results by having those just a little bit off. Alright, we've got a 46K dated diode down there. So let's get that replaced. Oh, that's right. You were the one that wanted the smoky blue, and you were curious if that was a navy or not. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can still absolutely do smoky blue if you want. I am positive that the photo I sent you was of a smoky blue. All of the blues kind of have a little bit of unexpected results, with the exception of the sapphire blue. The sapphire blue every time just comes out this perfect, like, deep blue, and it just looks wonderful. The smoky blue tends to look more like a navy blue, like you said. The what were the other blues that they had? I can't remember. There was a blue that they had that turned one of them like a jeans, almost like a purple jeans kind of color. It was awful. Oh yeah. No, I would say the majority of HomePods out there, despite, you know, how many of these we fixed, most HomePods out there are probably working just fine. Haven't had, and probably won't see, any issues for a long time. This doesn't have a logic board cable in it. Oh, that one's nasty. Here we go. Let's make sure this looks good. Yes. Yeah, it looks, the top looked more lavender than the mesh, because I think the tops of these, as you can see here, they tend to take a much less less deeper, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, a shallower tone of the color the mesh tends to really soak up the color, but the tops tend to really kind of not take it, and it ends up looking a lot duller and muted, kind of like these here. And the smoky blue, definitely, if you look at the mesh, I think you can kind of see, and it might be the camera too, maybe the camera made it look a little less than what it did in real life, or maybe a little different. I want to say it's the navy blue that makes everything turn purple. The smoky blue makes things turn deep blue slash like with a lavender hint to it. And then the sapphire blue does just straight blue like this. But the mesh is a lot darker, of course. Yeah, no, that's not a bad idea. My wife suggested the same thing. Alright, I don't know why that was so picky that time. That's normally like a 15 to 30 second task. There we go. You've got yourself a working HomePod or two. Oh yeah, I will let you know after the after our stream here, and I get a chance to catch up with the day and get something to eat. On how to pay and get your HomePods back here. Not a problem. Let's find Christopher here.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. I'm having trouble connecting.
Beautiful. Let's get Christopher here. And while that is turning on, I'm gonna go grab a quick break. Alright, we've got the blinkies on Christopher's pod here. Here's the plan. We're going to attempt a USB restore on Christopher's HomePod here. If it attempts to USB restore, then it will take about 15 to 20 minutes. And we will take a look at Corey's HomePod and see if we can't fix that up while Christopher restores. If Christopher's does not restore, then we are about all out of time for today. So, let's see who's that. People are messaging me and getting impatient. Hold on. To be fair, I told them. Let's see. Oh. Okay. We're good there. I thought it was worse than I thought it really was. That was actually Ace. I thought I messaged Ace when I was looking at theirs, but I did not. And they were curious what was up with their HomePod. So I let them know. We got it reset. We were able to reproduce the issue, but we are about all out of time for today. Where is the other screw? All right, and we will get our Mac. In the interest of time, I'm not going to screen share this one. Alright, well I can't even plug a USB cable in. Here we go. And let's get configurator. Let's get terminal. Screw it. Let's share a screen. Where's my mouse? If it'll work. Hey, it's working. Alright, avert your eyes. I am entering my password. Alright, let me do not disturb myself so people don't dox themselves asking me where their HomePod is. Let's get this plugged into power. And see if it restores. Some of the messages you guys send me are freaking hilarious. Will it restore? It will. Wow. Wow. Would you look at that? Alright, well I guess that means we're gonna get Corey's fixed up here. Let's shoot them a quick... Actually, hold on. Corey was 286. 286... Okay. I'm gonna grab Ace's back up here, I think. Alright, Christopher is restoring. They were number 284. Okay, so Christopher opted for the hardware maintenance too. And we're gonna come back over to Ace's HomePod here. There we go. All right. So we're gonna let Christopher's HomePod continue restoring in the background. Like I said, that takes a few minutes. So we're gonna come back here to Ace. They've got a loud pop. So this was the one that you guys heard in the background of our stream. When we plugged it in, it made that loud pop and restarted. We did try resetting this and we added it to our test home, but it did not update. It did not even get a chance to update before it popped and restarted. So this seems a lot more like an issue on the amplifier than an issue with the version of the operating system we're on here. Subwoofer seems okay. Ooh, squeaky. Well, Kurt, back in my day, they called them butt thumpers for a reason. Yeah, subwoofer is perfectly fine. And I've never seen a logic board cause this problem. That particular pop and restart is very, Oh, I see the problem. Oh. Ace, my friend, you have an interesting one on your hands here. Well, I'm kind of glad we snagged yours as the last one here. This makes for a very interesting last repair for this stream. It's not the power supply. Ooh, but there's something corroded in here. And ooh, it's a mess in here. Somehow moisture or something got in here. You guys will get a chance to see what I'm talking about in a second here. We'll pull this up under the close-up camera. I have never seen anything quite like this. Well, first of all, if you look inside of the shell here, we've got some corrosion around some of the screws. Very strange. But I've seen this kind of corrosion when one of the electrolytic capacitors explode. But everything looks fine. Like nothing exploded. It's just corroded. Was this placed anywhere superhuman by chance? I'm kind of surprised this worked as well as it did. I'll show you guys up close what I'm talking about here. What causes the woofer smell? I don't know what I don't think I actually understand what you're asking there. Geez, okay, so we've got some corrosion here. We've got a little bit of corrosion over here. A little bit on this inductor here and to the side here. It's almost rusting here. It almost looks like rust. A little more, what appears to be, oh, that's not rust, that's just flaking right off. More corrosion. More corrosion over here. This is probably what's causing the loud pop and restart in particular. But I only know that because we've fixed issues like that before with that particular pop and restart. We got a lot of corrosion over here. Geez. Surprisingly clean over here. And we're back to the connector for the power supply with all that. Okay. Where's my toothbrush? Oh, where? Oh, where, oh, where, oh, where, oh, where, oh, where, oh, where, oh, where. Oh, yeah, there's more on the other side of the board, too, if we flip this around. Oh, wow. Oh, when you sniff the HomePod to diagnose it, what are you smelling? I am smelling for a cooked subwoofer voice coil. When the DC filters go bad, it will overheat the subwoofer and it will smell like burned copper, like burned electronics. It's a particular smell to burned speakers, if you've ever smelled a stinky speaker before. We need... Where is it? Here we go. Let's clean this up real quick first, and then we'll do our maintenance to it, and then we'll see if it all works. And if it doesn't, if the issue persists, then we'll have to revisit it tomorrow with another amplifier board, because we're pushing our time already. We're pushing it, but I just had to pick one more. I'm going to scrub every square inch of this board because we don't know what's where and what might corrode later. Alright, so out of everything that we cleaned up there, there's one spot in particular that still looks pretty gnarly. Right there. And I think that might even still be good. No, it's not good anymore. Let's see if we can't replace it. This is an awful spot because it's right next to that big passive heatsink for the board. Oh, that came right off. Alright. I stand corrected. Yeah, that's why one of the pads for that component has completely corroded to oblivion. Okay. This is unfortunately going to take more time than we've got today. I apologize, Ace. I wanted to one-shot this one for you here now, but we are squeezing on the time and I don't want to rush it, so we will fix yours up first on tomorrow's stream, and then we will refurbish a space gray one for Kurt, unless they want to take the dive on that smoky blue. And tell you what, I'm willing to try it if you want to see how it turns out, and if you don't want it, I won't give it to you, and you won't pay for me trying. Or you can just get the space gray. Doesn't make much of a difference to me. That's all right. In any case, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair, and we will pick back up on this and many more tomorrow.